Ndizi TV Ubwansu Gusii.
Mbiamano sana mwanchi muri betaseni ke Ndizi TV no gosemera kone na kwabere ko gutwara uburigirya burubya nebere binde na ndengo kwaligania asemesa yamangana AMAYIA elinde ngomanye nare yabereka gokorekana akora chingongo chonsi inye chense asense mo chiche mitandao asense mo ya Facebook na bagotonyora gwetera Ndizi TV News Digital na baga asense mo ya YouTube gwetera Ndizi TV News asense mo ya website na bagotonyora gwetera www.ndizitv.net iritarane FRIDAH KERUBO nilio kwaeneke mnachibicha niliogire wikira sole asenchira ya bene na ere Petra Mokeira toskato nyegera nkwiro nanda segeke KERUBO sio elinde ngomanye amange asenchira yowenye. Mwanchi umurigiriri yangu kwa ligani bene ilinde tobeto gusanga asubuamo gwechaka bono igagwika omwelio AMAYIA yebire bigani otoko yachaka korwa asorogongo rwa Gusii asingu kumenya bino mugavana we county ya Kisii Simbarati nigeso kiribene na bigo koboli ya serikali ya Kenya kwanza utikana nabasubati korwa ase orogongo rwa Gusii abo babere bakorokana gukora emirimo emiya nabigo gwetuma asense ya Kenya aiganigo ayakwanite abo litkole igoro chinga kyabete kagwikirana ase amatanga ayamo ase chinsemo chia bomachoge chinga kicho boigoni gabolire serikali kwaeneke mnankuligirira bale engana yogo konga kubugima ase ababolire kubekemero bele mikirano erinda kwaeneke mnangorose bale uchumi
Biachane na kina mama wa Kisii ambao wanafanya kazi nzuri. Kama mnataka target wanaume tutaona huruma. Lakini kina mama ambao wanafanya kazi nzuri mnataka kutoa Nyakango kwa ofisi, mmetoa Mama Florence Omundi ofisini. Sasa ni vipi, ni huruma gani tutakuwa nayo? Chano nere ga mu machoge gusa. Enjara nere ga. Muri gwete bolinga obulima bwako ngire. Tafadhali shughulikia mambo ya high cost of living. Muachane na watu ambao wanafanya kazi nzuri. Pamoja na mimi nilikuja na timu kubwa.
Omwana siasa Musa Nyandusi Nyakeramba korwa sensemo ya Nyalibali ngati yabarayi bali babete bagwikirana ase amatanga asensemo ya bomachoge okwa nakora chinseme cyo ni gabete gakorera obomo bwa Banyalibali asokubwaterana no mugavana we county ya Kisii Simbarati elinda kwanekia obokoreri ubya ime county yo
igo twagete simba mono sana kubaba machoge intwe igo twagete ase simba una Banyalibali tari mondo toretete na ande mondo nde tayo goturushia ase simba arat igo togotira romna twagete igo wana machoge mumanyanga ndowa buyete asokwanta umuibuine omwami uno igo tigatomeke competition yeyo torango 2027 maliba gotangana onye wa machoge mo gotangana simba baye onye wa yaro gotangana ange kwanya baya Banyalibali ndiyamona sana nyasaye
Umurai bense Dr. William Ruto kubwaterana na barai nigo baba gwikirana imeyo muchi o Nairobi ase omorobelio bwa basae oyokorkwanga Youth Connect okwana kora CHINSA mechuni gabaga kwenekebna iyo nenchere yemo yogusira abasaim so kwenekebna nkwegendelela bale ase obugima bwabo oigonigo ayenekebna asamatuko alebosio nigo abantu kora sorgongo rwa Afrika barabe bagotalira CHINSA mo anene asense ya Kenya asebarabe osebatabe bakoboligwa amasakara yogoso ense ya Kenya anemono ayomanyikanitibna chivisa.
Visaless Africa. This has been my clarion call for the last 10 years. And I am happy that 2 days from now, on Jamhuri Day in Kenya, we are going to declare finally that no African will be required to have a visa to come to Kenya. It is because we are one people. It is because this continent needs to write its own narrative. For a long time, we've allowed others to write a narrative about us. And that is why, for a while, Africa has been described, has been known, has been profiled as a continent of conflict and disease and poverty. But let me tell you, Africa is much more. Africa in our own narrative. And I like what my brother there said. A Nigerian writer said, until the lion got to know how to write, all the stories glorified the hunter, because the hunter was the one who wrote the stories. So until Africa writes its own narrative, the narrative that is going to prevail is the narrative written by others that undermines our continent. And therefore, we need to write our
Chinga kecho boigo nigo ruto Amerika gotuguterare engana bunani go orogongo rwa Afrika ruri orotaka rubwata maroira mange naboigo nigo chisegi chabere chikoine kigwa kerengaki kolende nigo ayenikebuna nigo orogongo rwa Afrika rubwate enibe nyinge ase CHINSA chinde chitabwati oigo nigo ayenikebuna asamatko alibosio na abeka goncholia omugano bworogongo rwa Afrika naboigo koyenekebuna nigo rubwate
You have heard me on different platforms, both in Africa and outside Africa, saying we have a new narrative for Africa. From here, in September this year, at the Africa Climate Summit, the whole world knew that there is a new Africa in the making, an Africa abundant with opportunity, an Africa with renewable energy resources. 60% of the world's renewable energy resources are in our continent. 40% of the world's mineral resources, including those that are necessary for energy transition, are in this continent. 65% of all arable uncultivated land necessary for smart agriculture is in this continent. The young people of this continent, we are the youngest continent in the world with the greatest workforce and a great future market. That is not a continent you describe as a continent of conflict, disease, and poverty. That is a different continent. And that is why it is necessary for us to eliminate the borders that create unnecessary roadblocks, that create unnecessary stumbling blocks, that create unnecessary hurdles to the huge potential, to the huge opportunities that exist in our continent. And it is our intention as leaders in this continent that we convert our borders into bridges for our people to
Abasae kora CHINSA ya Kenya nigo baburiwe kwenekya bunangwe tumabale ase mirimo yabo bagokora nabo igokwenekya bunango beka bale omuki ase okwenyorera engere yabo ya keritko kwenekya yo no mukonyi bomurai bwense Rigathi Gachagua oyonekya bunanigo serikali ya Kenya kwanza ebwate mirubile mikirano ase ogosira abasae nabo igokwenekya bunango egenderere bale
because of my belief and that of my boss, President William Ruto, that our young people are the future. And even sitting here today, the President and I believe we don't achieve much. By just sitting here among young people, through the two processes of biology, diffusion and osmosis, we feel a little bit younger. I want to ask the youth of Africa not to sit at home and wait for anybody to come and call you to take your rightful place in society. You must go for it. You have the numbers. You are the largest population in Africa. What you want is what you should get and what you must get. But you must go for it. My office continues to be open to engage the youth of this country, to interact with you, share ideas with you, and whatever that we need to do to unlock your potential and put you on the right path to success, we shall do. You are most welcome. Asante sana.
Ritko rero nigo ritko ritko linene ase kyombe gyokurwania obukurumi ase omurobelyo obakokorekana AMAYIA County ya Murang'a elyo gochengera obukoleri bwabo ase babere bakurwania obukurumi ase nse ya Kenya. Morobelyo nigo bagokoragwa no CEO ase kyombe kyogia EACC Twali Mbarak oyonekya gose oyobolia abakenya nigo babwenete kobwatrana ase nkirenga kyogokora obukurumi.
I remember that is what the slave traders thought, that slavery can never be abolished because they were benefiting from it. That is what the racists in America thought because they were privileged. That is what the colonialists that colonized various nations of the world thought. That is what apartheid in South Africa, those people who are there thought that it would never end. That it was here when the colonials took our country, they thought it would never end. But you can never fight against a desperate people who are seeking their livelihood and their welfare. And so those who are committed to corruption, we are going to take the words of our leader, Kiraitu Murungi. We are going to fight you as a matter of life and death. Secondly, he said that by signing this document, we are doing the right thing by ratifying this convention today. To stand against corruption is the right thing to do. As we gather here today, 20 years since these words were spoken, we must refocus our vision to building a corruption-free Kenya. It is the right thing.
Egati abarai korwa sorogongorwa ukambani nigo beso kirbene na bego kubolia serikali asoko ne kebnango bekabale emerobele emekirano erinde ko ne kebna ligo lirio bugimango kyana lire bakoragwa no mubunge Robert Mbui na bego Stephen Mule na bego mubunge o Kitui Central Makali Mulu nigo ba ne kirbna niga bakenya bagendete gwitira amakongo chingaki obokurumi bagendete ko ne kiwa asekerengo kigoromono na bego eguru yebango egendete kubikwa asaba Kenya chingakiri guriria magutachi ligendete gukina ase obogima bagendete gokonga.
Timu ya Kenya kwanza walimwambia mambo ya gharama ya maisha ni jukumu ya serikali ile iko kwa ofisi, na wakamwambia ninyi watu wazimie mkae kando. Sasa sisi tumekaa kando, lakini ukweli ni kwamba kinaturamba. Tukiangalia kila siku wanaongeza taxes. Ukienda kuleta mafuta bei iko juu. Ukienda kununua chakula bei iko juu. Serikali
hii. Maisha ya gharama ya Kenya iko juu. Na kama rais hao wabunge unatembea nao wa KK hawakuambii ukweli na kuambia kitakuramba.
My message to the current government, please stop looking at the rear mirror. It will not help you. You have the government in your hands. Please work for Kenyans.
Kama ni waziri, kama ni PS na anafanya kazi mbaya, anafanya ufisadi, tuulize mheshimiwa rais, toa watu kwa kazi, kwa sababu wewe tunajua you mean well for the country, lakini kuna watu ambao wanakuangusha na tunawajua, and we will name them when parliament.
Mwancho murigereria kurasa roboti runi na ikira mwaelio wa mangana maya asibire biga kulinde toska tonyegera gekoraga ensa AMO ayona mange ningo eletra senchera yubikiranu nabakwenda gutubwati asensemo chiche mitandao asensemo ya Facebook gwetera Ndizi TV News Digital nabiga asensemo ya YouTube gwetera Ndizi TV News asensemo ya website nabakotonya gwetera www.ndizitv.net maga chikamera soko ni kimna ebi channel yogi de wikira sole asenchira ya bene ne Petra Mokeira ilitere ne FRIDAH KERUBO toskatonyegera morobeli wechi gosolingo chole asege keke KERUBO sio tuara oboligerelia borobe.